We're finally coming to a close at Computex 2019. Team Engadget is ready to leave. We have seen all kinds of stuff, though, here. Lots of chips, Devendra.
Lots of chips. Intel and AMD had a ton of news. Go check out our chip videos for that.
But we also saw a lot of eye-popping new laptops. We saw Intel bring the first slate of its Project Athena laptops here at the show. And this is something we've heard about for months now, but what are the requirements of Athena?
There are a bunch of things, but we have a big report about their battery life requirements. Intel saying at least 9 hours. At Computex, they talked about a whole bunch of other things, like instant wake on when you open up your computer. It's a lot of little things that should add up to a better computer experience. So you can think of this as like the next version of their Ultrabook plan, basically.
We saw 4 laptops here at the show that fell under the Project Athena classification, including the HP Envy with wood, which was very pretty, the Lenovo S940 and Acer Swift 3, as well as the Dell XPS 13 2-in-1.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that back in New York way before the show, but it's really cool. Like, I've seen a lot of XPSs. I called the most recent XPS the perfect ultra portable, and somehow Dell made this one even thinner, even lighter, and even kind of cooler. Like, the design just feels really good. If this is a sign of what we're going to see from Project Athena, I'm very excited.
Speaking of excitement, I was way more excited for what we saw from Asus. Computex is traditionally Asus's show, and this year was their 30th anniversary, and so they had a lot of very interesting things to show off, including the ZenBook Pro Duo, which we saw back in New York. It is a sort of dual screen notebook. It's got a 15.6-inch display with a companion 14-inch panel on the keyboard deck. Very cool. Check out our hands-on for that. We also saw new iterations of the ScreenPad 2.0. You reviewed the original ZenBook Pro with ScreenPad. This is an upgrade that will make it more intuitive and more power efficient. We also went hands-on with that. Asus also showed off a whole new bunch of 30th anniversary edition versions of its existing devices, which are very pretty, like the new ZenBook Pro edition, as well as the ZenFone 6 for the 30th anniversary edition. Those are pretty nice.
Pretty nice, and honestly, the ScreenPad looks really good too. I always thought that was going to be a bit of a gimmick, but it seems like they're making it much more useful this year. You could just throw any app down there. And certainly the ZenBook Pro's Duo's second screen, I think, is really useful and could change the way a lot of people use their computers. But Asus is not the only company that's going to be doing that, right?
Yeah, so we saw Intel at their technology open house show off a whole slew of different concepts. Intel at the Honeycomb Glacier booth showed off the ZenBook Pro Duo, but also displayed its own take on that idea of a primary display with an integrated companion display, what they're calling. And their device actually had that secondary screen come up towards you because there's a hinge. There's a hinge built into it, so you can elevate the screen so it's easier to look at. And there's a Tobii eye tracking sensor built into the hinge as well, so that you can switch windows and screens just by glancing at your app.
And this is a gaming laptop too. Like, that's the thing. This is the idea, like, you could play a first-person shooter on your main screen, maybe have the map or your supplies or something on the below screen. Kind of interesting, something we've never really seen before.
And I'm excited to see other people take that idea and run with it. Intel also had another concept dual screen device to show off called Twin Rivers. It's taking the idea of a dual screen laptop that we saw from last year a little bit further with more vibrant screens, but also Intel explained how it's going to tackle the idea of power consumption and battery efficiency. So hopefully when these devices eventually do trickle out, they'll actually last for almost a day and instead of just a few hours.
Yeah, and battery life is going to be a big thing. Honestly, I've had a lot of issues with these dual screened ideas, right? Because screens are usually your biggest battery drain. It seems like Intel's thinking hard about that. And also, it seems like a lot of companies are thinking about how to implement a keyboard and how to make that work, because you need a keyboard. You can't just rely on screens, I think.
Yeah, as we're losing keyboards, we're gaining keyboard attachments as well, and our colleague Dan Cooper has a great piece about that. That's not all that we saw at Computex. We also saw a 5G laptop, because why not? Lenovo and Qualcomm announced Project Limitless, the first 5G laptop, well, in the world. And Project Limitless is also meant to be a collaboration that spans multiple years, with the two companies committing to bringing more 5G laptops to the space. The concept that I saw wasn't all that impressive. It was pretty early as a prototype, But I am excited for the future to be all 5G laptops all the time.
What can we expect from a 5G laptop?
You can expect 2.5 gigabits per second for speed because of the Snapdragon X55 modem that is on here.
And speed is certainly a good thing, but I think what is really interesting too is sort of the low latency. The idea with 5G is you open up your computer and boom, it's online. You can do things, you can play multiplayer games, and you can have the sort of latency you can expect at home. And it's not just going to be slower mobile internet, basically.
Project Limitless also runs off of Qualcomm's 8CX chipset, which is supposed to rival an Intel Core i5 in terms of its power, but it is still a Windows on ARM device, which means you'll still have somewhat limited app compatibility. There are a lot of questions we have here for Lenovo and Qualcomm, and Computex wasn't the place they answered them. We will have to wait till next year to learn more about that.
And maybe not just till next year. It seems like there's going to be a lot of news at E3 as well. I know AMD is holding out for more details on their video cards, the first Navi chips that they showed off here. I'm expecting a lot of interesting stuff because that's going to end up in next generation consoles.
That is literally happening very soon. There are a lot of shows and lots of news. So the team Engadget is tirelessly working hard to bring you all of the news from all of these shows. So stay tuned to Engadget for all of the information.
Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out Engadget.com to keep up with all that news.